First off, I just want to say thank you all for having me here, and congratulations to all the Honor Society members, because everything that I've researched, because I did my part and researched everything that you have done, I think it's absolutely incredible what all of you have done and all the steps that you have made to actually get here. You know, I've heard so far that you've had hopefully a good time, you know, going around Los Angeles and visiting LA for the first time, or their hands up, first time in LA wow, for most people. So I hope it was a good time seeing Hollywood. And where else did you go?
We went to Santa Monica Pier.
Santa Monica Pier and everything else. LA has a lot to offer. It's an exciting city, and a city that I did grow up in, and left for a few years but came back to, and I will always call it home. For all of you, I just want to say you've all taken the first steps. This is the first steps to being successful in your field of choice when it comes down to it. Be it sports, business, politics, whatever, you've made an effort. And that's really how it all starts, you know, not being afraid and putting yourself out there. All of us, we've seen or heard, you know, the habits of successful people, the strategies of successful people. I know if I asked you to put your hands up who've seen the books, the DVDs, videos, everyone's hands would go up. But when it comes down to it, it's all the same. And some of those things that everyone talks about, it's one of the most important is goals. It's setting goals for yourself. And that's something that I've always done, that I believe is so important for all of you as you make that march towards your career in the future, having those certain goals and what you want to achieve, be it a yearly goal, a monthly goal, weekly goal, daily goal. Something is important because it puts you on that path. It puts you on the path of where you want to be. But for all of you, I think it's important to find out that length of where you want to set. And myself, I'm a Gemini, so I have things always going all over the place. 50 different things here and 30 different things there. Yeah, you're smiling, you know. So it happens. So for me, it was important to set those goals in a daily aspect. I mean, you can ask my manager who's sitting over there. She knows I'm always on her case to make sure that things are going, you know, and that's important. You know, maybe it's a monthly goal or weekly goal, but as I've gotten older, I realize I need to set those daily goals, because those little achievements are important. Because when you have that success, it sets you on that path. It lets you gain confidence in where you want to be. Those minor victories are needed, you know, and those were the minor victories that were important for me now, and they're important for me when I was playing. If it was during training, it was like, okay, I need to go out there and get a little bit better every day. Just do a little something extra every day. If it was against a teammate of mine that had gotten the better of me the day before, it was, okay, I'm going to go out today and I'm going to put myself in the position that I get one up on him today. You know, and those are the little things that I think everybody has to do, be it on the training field or be it in your career or your path, wherever you want to do, is make sure that you try to get a little bit better every day. And when you think about that, it's not that hard. You know, look, what I'm saying here, I'm sure you've heard 100 times before. I heard it 100 times growing up from my parents. But it's true, it's important. If you take that step to get just a little bit better, do something a little bit different every day, you will see things will open up before you, because you put yourself in an area where all of a sudden you're striving, you're reaching, and people notice. People do pay attention to that. And that's what's important when you're moving forward in your life and in the career path that you have chose. At certain times is a goal. It could be working out is a goal. It could be eating this, not that, as a goal. These are all the little things that will help you on that path, that all of a sudden you're feeling like you're achieving something. That's what I used as I was a player, as I was a student. If it was, I'm going to study for 3 hours and achieving that little goal, that helps me. That helps me on the path of going to where I want to be. Whatever it is that creates the habits, through that positive reinforcement, it leads you to that ability to you dedicate yourself to something, that you're dedicating yourself towards your career. And dedication is another important aspect. That's one of those other habits that is so important, and probably the toughest. As we all realize, dedicating yourself to something is difficult, because there are certain things that always get in the way. You'll be tested with dedication. There'll be doubters. There will be people that will tell you that you can't do something. And I have been told when I was, as you saw in that video, in high school, I was told that I was the worst player by a coach that he had ever seen. Don't know where that coach is now, but I'm telling you, it's the honest truth. That's what I was told in the high school times. During the Olympics, as I made the 92 Olympic team, before that, I was cut twice from that Olympic team. Twice, the coach said that I wasn't good enough, but in the end, I ended up starting in the 92 Olympics. So that's more of those doubters, people telling you that you can't do something. From the U.S. national team, I was almost cut before I ended up making that team, and as you heard, I've played 164 times for my country. In the MLS Cup, I lost 3 times. 3 times in the final. And trust me, look, I was doubting myself at that point. But 3 times I lost the cup before. In 2002, I ended up captaining the team and actually finally winning the cup. And then 3 years later, in 2005, winning the double in that MLS championship and the Open Cup. So it tells you something. You need to put those doubts on yourself and those doubters behind you, because they'll always be there. But that just goes to tell you the dedication to what you want to do. It's going to be belief in yourself, and you need to find that belief from your family and friends, which those are the ones that will support you. But there's also going to be distractions in that dedication. And as we all know, life gets in the way, right? Life always gets in the way, and there's the yes right over there. We know that there's, at times, you all right in the back? Life's getting in the way for you, huh? You know? But there's family that always is a distraction. Friends that always want you to do something, that tell you, hey, why don't you go do this? Why don't you go do this? But you have to stay on that path. You know, there's fun times. You know, hey, why don't you come to this party? You don't need to study right now. Those are all things that can get in the way. But the important part is the end goal has to be in sight, that dedication to the reward. Because it's amazing when you reach that. The achievement that you feel that you've accomplished trust me, is absolutely amazing. When you actually work hard for something and then you set your mind to something and then you achieve it, there's nothing like it in the world. Nothing. I've had stuff, yes, because of my career, I've had stuff handed to me, and trust me, I like that too, but there are things that I've worked hard for and I've had blood, sweat, and tears for, and then when I finally achieve it, that is the tastiest. That's the most promising. That's what I love more than anything else, because I did it. I did it myself, and that's something that I hope that all of you take away from this, that you realize the hard work and the perseverance, and if you get that reward, that will be the sweetest reward that you possibly have. But in all that being said, it really truly is the process. It's the process. The process is the true reward. When you're dedicated, it's the hard work, the faith, the perseverance. That's what molds you now. That's what transforms you now and in the future, because we never stop changing. You always want to get better. I'm 44. I'm going to be 45 next year, and I'm still changing. I'm not exactly sure of where I'm going to be in 5 years, because I'm always trying to do more. But I'm always trying to be better. I'm always working hard, always having the perseverance, always having the faith, always continuing on that path, because we never stop changing at all. So when all that's said and done, I like to think that makes most people feel self-assured and confident, having the ability to know oneself, the drive and willingness to just try, to put yourself out there and try, to get out there and, well, I was going to say to get out there and do it, as Nike says, but that for your generation, that's probably like, no, right? No. That's what Nike used to say, okay? But do it. That draws attention. It draws people to you. People want to be near that. When you notice someone that has that drive and that willingness, I mean, we've all been in groups, right? We've all been in that group, and I know everyone's inside thinking, yeah, where we've been in that group where someone's the leader, and it's been kind of like, how did this person become the leader? You know, yeah, you're laughing right now, right? Okay, but when there's someone that you've been in a group and you understand why they're the leader, it's usually because you see that drive. They have a vision of where they want to go. They include everybody. They're willing to step out in front and be the person that is bringing everybody up with them. That's when you can understand. It's all those things that I talked about that is shining through, and you want to be a part of that group. Not only is it where you're thinking, oh, I'm just making him better. You feel like you're making yourself better. You're making the group better. That's what it's all about. If I could, I'm going to get this quote. This is from John Quincy Adams, and this is one that I always like. He says, as John Quincy Adams said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. That's very important to remember if you remember anything. Remember that quote, because it's not really about yourself. It's what you're imparting on everybody else that is around you. That's what being a leader is. You're affecting those to be more. If you notice that, everything is more, affecting all of them to be more than what they are. So remember that part. Find ways to work together. Even when you're in a group and you're around people that you don't like, find a way to work together. Because we've all been in groups with people that we don't want to work with. But you have to. That's life. Find those ways. Become better through the criticisms. There will always be criticisms of you, critiques of you, but find a way to look at those critiques through a different light and use those critiques to become better at what you want to do. That's something that I always did in my career. All these things, they'll turn you into a leader, not overnight, but over time. And those are the times when you tend to find yourself. So when we look at that video, you know, the young kid, all the stuff with the national team and the MLS, none of that is supposed to be up there. I'm not supposed to be where I am right now when it comes down to it. When you really think about everything that I've said, the little tidbits that I've given to you, I'm not supposed to be here. We talk about high school, where I was told that I wasn't good enough. You know, that I was the worst player. Mind you, imagine a high school kid. Most of you, you're not far from high school. Someone telling you that you're the worst at what you love doing. I was a walk-on at UCLA. I wasn't supposed to play at UCLA. I was supposed to just be the practice player. I walked on at UCLA, but through the perseverance and my dedication, I ended up starting at UCLA for 4 years straight. I ended up getting all the honors that you possibly could in college at UCLA after coming in as a walk-on. With the Olympic team, like I said, cut twice from the Olympic team. Right before the trip to France that I wanted to go to every year, but the coach kept cutting me. Still a little bit bitter about that, but in the end, ended up, you know, going to Spain and Barcelona in the '92 Olympics and playing in that Olympics, which, by the way, the mascot's name, anyone know that mascot's name? You know, not my manager, you know. Yes, someone knew that one. Yes, the name was Cobi, spelled the exact same way, so it was meant to be. See that? There's that faith right there. And through the Olympics, there's, after that, my time with the LA Galaxy. You know, a team that nobody wanted to play on this LA Galaxy team. When I was playing overseas, at the time, I've been in England, then I was in Brazil playing, and they asked me to come back. And they said, where do you want to go? And I said, I want to go to LA. And they're like, good, nobody else wants to go there from the national team. I was like, all right, okay, I'll go. This is home, I want to be here. Faith again, making the right decision. The opening match of that game where we played, and as you saw in the video, I scored the first goal in the LA Galaxy history. They said there'd be maybe 15,000 people might show up to the game just because, you know, no one likes soccer in LA. In that match, 60,000 people showed up. They were tearing down the banners in that match. At halftime, people were still filing in at the game. At the end of the game, when the game was over, people rushed the field. We were like a mob scene, like you see in the movies, people rushing the field to take us off in the victory 2-1 over New York. And to tell you something, there are people still on the freeway trying to get into the match. There was over 70,000 people, and they had only planned to have 15,000. So that tells you something. So my faith came through again. I picked the right spot in Los Angeles. And then, as I said, in that LA Galaxy, my time there, losing 3 times in the MLS Cup, but finally coming back and winning in 02 and 05 as I captained the team. So I was pretty proud of that. And then being, after the possible cut from the national team, ending up to be the most capped player 164 times, and then finally to really cap this off, to make it into the Hall of Fame for U.S. soccer, is an honor. There's a star outside of the StubHub Center with my name on it, with all the 3 World Cups in 94, 98, and 2002. So for the kid that was from Westlake, that was not supposed to be doing a whole lot, it was pretty cool. And let me tell you something. It's not that I was gifted in any other way. It was the hard work. It was the perseverance. It was the dependence on my family and friends of getting me through those hard times. Because if you talk to any athlete out there, they will all tell you there are hard times and there's sacrifice. There are sacrifices to be made. And for all of you, there will be sacrifices that you have to question yourself. Should I make those sacrifices, yes or no? The end has to be in your sights. And by the end, I mean your goal. What you want out of your career, what you want out of your life, because the moment when that decision has to be made, that's just the one moment. You have a whole life ahead of you. I'm jealous of everything that all of you have right now, let me tell you. I wish I could be your age right now and starting up again. So make the most of it, have a good time with it, but understand, with anything that is worthwhile, trust me, there's hard work behind it. So thank you very much for having me today. I really appreciate it. And hopefully I didn't bore too many of you. Yeah, thanks for the snaps in the back, huh? Yeah, okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I really
Appreciate
appreciate
it.
it.
Yep.